universal values of the Declaration of Human Rights are enshrined in the Freedom Charter and the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. This attack seeks to delegitimate any government that aims to address equality like our government, whether between nations, communities, gender, race, and individuals. It seeks to undermine the existing rule-based order in the world and return human civilization to an era of might, where might is right, to an era of privilege, and to an era of subjugation, and to an era where imperialism becomes the order of the day for mighty and strong nations. 65 years ago, when accepting the 1961 Nobel Peace Prize, former President of the African National Congress, Chief Albert Luthuli said, "Our cause is the cause of the liberation of people who are denied freedom. Only on this basis can the peace of Africa and the world be firmly founded. Our cause is the cause of equality between nations and peoples. Only thus can the brotherhood and sisterhood of man, of humanity, be firmly established." The vast majority of South Africans, and indeed the global humanity, embrace these values that were so well articulated by Chief Albert Luthuli: the values of freedom, of equality, non-racialism, non-sexism, human solidarity. However, there is an increasingly vocal minority in our country that make common cause with this global attack on human rights and these values, and actively propagate falsehoods. Their aim is to undermine South Africa's constitutional democracy, to undermine our non-racialism, non-sexism, and the transformation project. They employ multifaceted tactics, including the propagation of blatant falsehoods, such as the claim that there is white genocide in South Africa. They do this to attract sympathy and solidarity from global racist movements and individuals. On the one hand, they form and fund political parties designed to fragment the motive forces of change. On the other hand, they sow the seeds of regime change, establish parallel state structures, and foment secessionist tendencies. Reversing the gains of democracy by any means has become increasingly open objectives of domestic anti-transformation forces and their global allies. Therefore, given these challenges, the current conjuncture demands that we build the broadest united front to defend, consolidate, and advance the national democratic revolution, to advance our constitutional democracy, as well as status as a sovereign country in the family of nations. Ke ka moo re reng, la ba ka leka eng le eng, ba ka se re tlhole re le naga e ya South Africa. Batho ba South Africa re kopane, re ntho e le nngwe, re ka se dumele gore re ilo tlholwa ke bao ba batang go etsa dintho tse tswileng tseleng. Le gona, that is why we say we as a people refuse to be divided We refuse even to be bullied by anyone, whether here or around the world. And our rallying call continues to be, we will not be bullied. We are South Africans. We are united in our will and our resolve. Bao ba batlang gore divider, they must think again. We are not willing to be divided. We must therefore defend, consolidate, and advance our Constitution and the institutions of our constitutional democracy, and ensure that these institutions work for all. We must defend, consolidate, and advance the rights of the workers in our country, the informal sector of business, the small businesses, the farmers, and the middle strata. We must defend and consolidate and advance quality basic services and the expansion of housing, of education, of health care, of electricity, of water, of sanitation, and of social security net, of building roads, broadband services, and infrastructure to millions of South Africans. We say today as the NEC that it is our revolutionary duty to defend, consolidate, and advance women's rights, the war on gender-based violence and femicide, and the building of a non-sexist South Africa. Re batla gore boao ba ntse ba tswella pele le gender-based violence ba itse gore matsatsi a bona a fedile ka bana re ka se tlhole re dumela bomme le basetsana ba rona ba be subjected to gender-based violence. Re batla gore banna ba South Africa ba tlhompe bomme le basetsana ba South Africa. Re ha re bona bomme ba ausi le basetsana le bonkgono re be re bona batho ba re tshwanetseng gore re ba tlhompe, re ba fe tlhompo, re be re khumame pele ga bona, re ra le tlhompa, ra le leboga gore le ba fumahadi ba mona South Africa. We are required to defend, to consolidate and advance the rights of young men and women to education. Re re thuto ke yona e botlhokwa gagolo mo bophelong ba rona kaofela. Ka Mantaga go tlo ntshiwa di-results tsa matric, ke mo re tla bonang gore a na mosebetsi o tiro e ya rona ya tsa thuto e ntse e tswella pele na. Ke a kgolwa gore mo Northwest re tla ne re bone tswelopele e pila ya thuto ka gobane mo bekeng e ke kopane le batjha ba bantsi ba ileng ba mpontsha gore ka nnete thuto ba e rata. Re mo batswading re etse sure gore bana ba rona ba ska tlogela sekolo. Sekolo ke bophelo. Go tshwanetse gore bana ba rona for dilemo tse 12 kaofela ba be ba le sekolong, ba ithute go etsetsa gore ba fumane di-skills, bokgoni bo tlhokagalang mo economing ya rona. We want to create jobs and economic opportunities, and opportunities to use young people to use their energy, their creativity and innovation to build their communities and their country. However, we must also recognize that our own weaknesses and failures in service delivery, really mokgatlo, in governance and slow pace of economic growth, as well as the high levels of unemployment, have demoralized and alienated many individuals in our country. Le go menagane go le jwalo, re tshwanetse gape go lemoga gore ha re palelwa borona mo ditirong tse tshwantseng gore di dietse, batho ba fellwa ke pelo, ba tsamaya ba tloga gaufi le rona. Re tshwanetse gore re etse matsapa ohle, really ANC, re bontshe sentle gore re sebeletsa setšhaba sa heso. We cannot blame our people if they question whether our democracy, our constitution, or our economy, and indeed our movement and the alliance really work for them. It is these weaknesses and failures that the tasks outlined below seek to address. Re a dumela gore there are areas where there have been shortcomings, but we now, as the ANC, focus on the tasks that the National Executive Committee has outlined that we need to address and embark upon to correct those weaknesses in order for the African National Congress to serve the interests of our people and to reclaim its key role of being the leader of society. In order to defend and to consolidate and to advance our organization, our government, and our country, we have identified 6 tasks for progressive and patriotic forces to embark upon in 2026. Gore re kgone go sireletsa le go kopanya le go tsweletsa pele mokgatlo wa rona, go na le ditiro tse tshwantseng gore re di etse. Firstly, we must focus on fixing local government and improving basic services. Re tshwanetse go lokisa bo masepala ba rena gore bo masepala ba rona ba sebetse transformation, inclusive growth and job creation. Sa boraro, we must wage war on crime and corruption and tackle gender-based violence and femicide as a nation of South Africa that belongs to all through the national dialogue process, as well as the 30th anniversary of our Constitution. And fifthly, we must make organizational renewal visible and irreversible. And finally, we must build a better Africa and a better world. Ha re ka etsa re sebetse go re etse ditiro tse 6, ke gona mo re tla kgonang go bona gore ka nnete re tla ba re tsweletse pele. The first task for our movement in 2010 to fix local government and improve basic services. In last year's January 8th statement, we emphasized ending load shedding and ensuring a consistent supply of water by upgrading, maintaining, and expanding municipal infrastructure while tackling sabotage and corruption. Improvements in electricity provision by ESCOM, alongside improved private investment in electricity investment. However, there is municipal load reduction that continues to disrupt daily life. Mo ne re tsamaya teng gona mo Northwest, re kopane le batho ba bantsi ba ne ba lla ba re motlakase o dula o wa, ba lla ba re motlakase a o tshume nako tsohle. Ntho eo a e etswe ke load shedding, e etswa ke load reduction. Ka nako tse ding motlakase wa wa, o wiswa ke gore go na le bao ba etsang di-connection tse seng molaong. There's those illegal connections ke tsona tse wisang motlakase ka hobane a di kopane sentle di-wire tse tsa teng, dithapo tse tsa teng. Go gong go etswa ke gore yes, go na le batho ba bantsi ba dulang sebakeng se itseng and dithapo tseo a di soka di tiiswa ka tsela e tshwanetseng. So we call on electricity users, yes, to ensure that we desist from illegal connections, and we also want to call on government to ensure that when there is load reduction, there is immediate reconnection. Go na le bao ba segang dithapo tsa motlakase. Mo ne ke ile teng boikotlong, ba ne ba njwetsa gore go na le ba bang ba segang dithapo. So all those things must be properly investigated. We also call on municipalities to strengthen their billing services and collection systems, and to honor debt repayment commitments to ESCOM, and act decisively against illegal connections and vandalism. Last year, we elevated water security as a priority task for 2025. Government currently has 13 major water redevelopments to improve the water provision on